Welcome back, students. Welcome to the class. So today we will going to discuss the bonding in case of metal carbonyls. But before that, let's take a review at the previous topic which we have discussed. That is the crystal field theory, the electronic configuration, the paramagnetic behavior, and color of the complexes. Now you know that in case of paramagnetic character, there is a presence of unpaired electron at the T2D level from where the electron get so, and also in the EG level. So what happens in that case? The more the number of unpaired electron, that is in case of the weak ligands, so you will have the compound paramagnetism coming into effect. That happens mostly in case of when you have very weak ligands presence with you. Now, in case of color also, the color of the complex is also due to the DD transition. That electron from the due to the splitting of the d orbitals, the T2G and EG orbitals are formed, and if the light falls in the absorption region or CFT falls in the absorption region, then the one of the T2G electron, it will absorb the wavelength and get excited to the EG level. That is called DD transition. But there are many cases like in complexes like CrO4, that is dichromate, chromate, or permanganate, like that. They have D0 configuration, but still they have very intense color. You know that chromate ion is yellow, dichromate is orange, permanganate is deep purple in color. Now that color is due to the charge transfer and not due to DD transition. I am repeating once more. In those cases, I am repeating once more, in dichromate, in chromate, in permanganate, like that, the color is due to what? The color is due to the DD transition, not due to DD transition, but due to the charge transfer. That ligand, like in this case oxide ion, or ligand like NO, okay, or ligand like thiocyanate, like they are able to transfer one of the electron to the metal atom. Now, what are the limitations of CFT? The treatment of the ligand as the point charge is objectionable. If this assumption is true, then anionic ligand should be stronger than the neutral ligand, but OH negative is a weaker ligand than water and ammonia. Now, in case of what? In case of CFT, the negative ligands are taken as point charges. But when we study the spectrochemical series, OH negative or Cl negative or F negative, they are very poor ligand in comparison to the neutral ligand. So CFT cannot explain that. Next, it is assumed that electrostatic interaction only, but in complexes of metal in zero state, this assumption fails and covalent bonding must not be there, and there must be only covalent bonding, no covalent bonding should be there. Now, in case of metal carbonyls or in case of neutral ligand, that En, water, ammonia, okay, there the metal exists in zero oxygen state, but still they are able to form. Now CFT consider only the d orbitals of the metal ion only, and there is no consideration of other orbitals like splitting on the d orbitals. You already studied that. And it does not also consider the pi bonding in complexes, and it happens. Okay, so these are what limitations of the CFT. Now we will take next topic, that is called as organometallic compounds. The first D block organometallic compounds were made by Ziesel by action of ethene on a solution of potassium chloroplatinate. In chemistry, the term organometallic was introduced by Franklin, who first prepared dimethyl zinc and then several organometallic compounds like diethyl zinc, dimethyl mercury, tetraethylstin, and trimethyl borane. Nowadays, the chemistry of the organometallic compound is very wide and is very useful. So, what is an organic compound means? An organometallic compound defined as the compound in which carbon forms bond with the atom, okay, with metal or non-metal which is less electronegative than the carbon. I am repeating once more. Carbon forms a bond with atom, metal or non-atoms which is less electronegative than carbon. These compounds contain carbon metal bond, but some metalloids like boron, silicon can also form organometallic compounds. RMGX, RLI, dialkyl zinc, trialkyl borane, phenyl lithium, and tetramethyl lead. All of them are what? All of them are organometallic compound. All of them are organometallic compound. You have to remember that. So remember that all Grignard reagents are taken as what? All types of Grignard reagents are taken as what? Organometallic compound. R type of alkyl lithiums are taken as what? They are called as organometallic compound. Okay. Similarly, you will have R2CuLi, that is Gilman reagent, that is also organometallic compound. This is sodium acetaldehyde, that is organic compound, that is ionic compound. That is although ionic in nature, but it is what? It is an organometallic compound. Okay, but compound like ethoxide ion, they are not organometallic compound. They are not. Why? Because there is no metal carbon bond is there. There is no metal carbon bond is there. Okay, even phenyl magnesium bromide, that is the Grignard also, is also because phenyl will form a bond with magnesium. So if the metal does not have a bonding with carbon directly, so metal should have a direct bonding with the carbon, then only it should be called as organometallic compound. This is Gilman reagent, this is alkyl lithium or phenyl lithium, like that. Okay, so look at that once more. You have what? You have, I am repeating once more, dimethyl zinc, diethyl zinc, dimethyl mercury, tetraethyl tin, triethyl boron, Grignard reagent, alkyl lithium, dialkyl zinc, okay, phenyl lithium, tetramethyl lead or tetraethyl lead. All of them are organometallic compound. Now the organometallic compound, they may be different pieces, so on which you can classify the various type of organometallic compound. Okay, the simplest classification is based on their composition. like simple organometallic compound or mixed organometallic compound. In case of a simple organometallic compound, only the organic group is present with the carbon. The additional groups may be only hydrogen, like alkyl lithium, alkyl sodium, dialkyl cadmium, dialkyl zinc, trialkyl tin. Okay, everyone knows that trialkyl tin and tributyl tin, they are very good reducing agent also. Simple organometallic compound may be further divided into symmetrical and unsymmetrical. Okay, like tetraethyl lead, dimethyl zinc. What they have? They have symmetrical, while you have methyl butyl mercury, because you have two different alkyl group, or methyl ethyl zinc, they are unsymmetrical. Why? Because the two alkyl groups which are present are different. So when two alkyl groups present are different, they are called as unsymmetrical. Another way to classify the organometallic compound which are important in this chapter are the main group organometallic compound and D and F organometallic compound. I am repeating once more: main group organometallic compound and D and F organometallic compound. DF and F organometallic compounds are more important. In case of S and P organometallic compound, the most important ones are Grignard reagents and Gilman reagent and tetraethyl lead. And there is one Ziegler-Natta catalyst also. That is also very important. Ziegler-Natta catalyst is trialkyl aluminium and titanium tetrachloride. If they are taken together, that is called as Grignard reagent. That is called as Ziegler-Natta catalyst. So first you will take the ionic organometallic compound. These compounds are mostly found between the electropositive metal and the carbon compound. Okay, and which are most acidic in nature. Alkali metals and alkali earth metal consist of ions or ion pairs. So that is alkyl sodium, alkyl magnesium halide, okay, phenyl lithium, sodium alkylide, or dialkyl zinc. In all of them, you can see that alkali metal, zinc is D block element, not alkaline metal, but you have magnesium, you can have magnesium also, calcium also, you have. Zinc has amphoteric nature, so it is easy to take. These compounds are normally insoluble in hydrocarbon solvent. They are very reactive towards air and water, all of them. Why? Because carbon carrying negative charge is the strongest base. I am repeating once more: carbon carrying negative charge is one of the strongest base. Why? Because corresponding alkanes and hydrocarbons, they are the weakest acid. So conjugate base should be the strongest base. The stability of these compounds depends upon the structure of the carbon containing part of the compound. In the next category, you have covalent bonded compounds. Okay, in these complexes, the metal and the carbon atoms are attached to each other by covalent bonds. And how are they? They are first sigma bonded complexes. Then you have pi bonded complexes. And then you have complexes having both sigma bond and pi complexes. So these things you have to keep in your mind now. Remember that earlier also we have discussed the various types of ligand, in which we have discussed the sigma ligands, pi donor, pi acceptor. Please go through that topic also once more so that you have a better understanding. Here, since we will only discuss about carbon monoxide, so carbon monoxide is a pi acceptor ligand. Okay, alkenes are also pi acceptor. Benzene is also pi acceptor ligand. Okay, so first we will discuss about the sigma bonded what we will discuss about the sigma bonded complexes. Now in a sigma bond complexes, a metal and a carbon atom, the ligand is joined with a sigma bond. This means that ligand contributes one electron and therefore called as one electron donor. Trimethyl tin, trialkyl, trimethyl tin, tetramethyl tin, trimethyl aluminium are all sigma bonded organelle compound. Okay. Later they exist as a dimer structure to that similar to that of diborane. Look at that here. They exist as what? But it is trimethyl aluminium. And what has happened here? Okay, here happens that dimerization occurs. Dimerization occurs. So this is the bridge. This is the bridge. So two bridges are able to form up here. And these are the organic compound in which involves the use of pi bond present in the organic compound. For example, Zeisel salt, ferrocene and dibenzene, chromium are organometallic compound of this type. In all these compounds, the pi electron of the organic compound interact with the metal ion and occupies one of the coordination site. For example, in ferrocene and in dibenzene, the iron and chromium atom are sandwiched between two aromatic rings. Now in ferrocene, you may not know, in case of ferrocene, there is cyclopentadienyl anion. This carbon carrier, okay, anion that is aromatic in nature. That will donate its lone pair or pi clouds. Okay, look at see there. Look at that. So this is cyclopentadienyl anion. So in cyclopentadienyl, what will happen? This lone pair becomes pi cloud. This pi cloud becomes lone pair. So by this manner, what happens? You have resonance. Again, lone pair become pi bond, and here pi bond become lone pair. Then what will happen? This lone pair become pi bond, and that pi bond become lone pair. So here you can see that. So similarly, what will happen? This pi lone pair become pi cloud. This pi becomes lone pair. Then this lone pair become pi and this. So you can say that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And structure number 6 is similar to that of what? 1. So 1 is again obtained. Are you getting that or not? So that's how the delocalization occur in case of cyclopentadienyl. I repeating once more. This is cyclopentadienyl anion. Now you can see that here in cyclopentadienyl the pi cloud electrons are lost to iron. So it is bis cyclopentadienyl iron 2. Okay, are you sure about that or not? In this case, what is happening here, that it is popularly known as ferrocene. It is popularly known as what? Ferrocene. So it is called as sandwich. It is called as what? Sandwich complex. It is called what? Sandwich complex. So you have to understand like that. Okay. So I am repeating once more here. Okay. Pi electrons. What is that? Pi electrons of the organic compound. Pi of the organic compound interact with the metal ion. Interact with the metal ion. I am repeating once more. Pi cloud of what? Pi cloud of the organic compound interact with what? Metal ion. Okay, sure about that or not? Clear? So here you can see that these pi electrons are donated to the central metal atom platinum. That is called Ziesel salt. Neta here stand for number of carbon atom. Number of carbon atom involved in pi bonding. Here in ferrocene, I show you just by resonance. Neta means number of what? Number of carbon involved in what? Involved in pi bonding. In ferrocene, I just told you, in case of ferrocene, there are 5 carbon involved in what? 5 carbon involved in resonance. In case of dibenzene chromium, also, neta is 6. You can say that. In Ziesel salt, neta is 2. You can say neta 2 is given. So it means 2 carbon atoms are involved in pi bonding. In case of ferrocene, it is written neta 5. So how many? 5 carbon are involved in pi bonding. In dibenzene chromium, this is dibenzene chromium. Dibenzene chromium. In dibenzene chromium, neta is 6. So it means 6 carbon atoms are involved in pi bonding. So remember that in this case, okay, this is ferrocene. This is what? Ferrocene. Okay, in case of ferrocene, it is written as what? Ferrocene is written as Fe neta 5 C5 H5 2. So you can easily see that it is bis dicyclopentadienyl iron 2. This is what? This is also dibenzene chromium 0. What is that? Dibenzene chromium 0. Because chromium here in 0 state. Are you getting that or not? So this is ferrocene. This is how will you represent chromium here? So you will represent Cr neta 6 C6 H6 twice. Neta stand for number of carbon atom involved in pi bonding in the ligand. This is called Ziesel salt. In Ziesel salt also it is what is that its correct name? Its correct name is potassium trichlorido ethene platinate 2. That is Ziesel salt. I am repeating once more. Now we should talk about the compound which have both sigma and pi bond character. Bonded character. Now sigma and pi bonded organometallic compound. Metal carbonyl. That is the most important topic in this chapter. Compounds found between the metal and carbon monoxide belongs to this class. These compound possesses both sigma and pi bonding. The oxidation state of the metal atom in these compound is zero, except in 1-2 cases the oxidation state is negative. Carbonyls may monomeric, bridged or polynuclear. Remember that monomeric, I drawn there now. This is monomeric, this is monomeric. Okay, sure about that or not? Bridged one or polynuclears, we will discuss that. And mainly found by the transition metals, belongs to 6th, 7th and 8th group. Are you getting that or not? Clear? So this is very much in your mind. So first compound that is written there is 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 carbonyl groups are there. So it is tetracarbonyl nickel 0. Remember that in your coming lectures you will be gone through a topic that is called Mond process. That is for purification of nickel. In the purification process of nickel, tetracarbonyl nickel is formed first, and then it is heated so that carbon monoxide can be freed from the nickel and you can get the pure nickel. So that compound is very very important. Now this compound is pentacarbonyl iron 0. Pentacarbonyl iron 0. That is very very important compound also. Now you can look at this compound once more. This is tetracarbonyl nickel 0. This is pentacarbonyl nickel 0. Both of these compound metal exist in 0 oxygen. Metal exists in what? 0 oxygen state. They are also called as homoleptic complexes also because all the ligands are of same type. Now look at this. Now it is hexacarbonyl chromium 0. Hexacarbonyl chromium 0. Hexacarbonyl chromium 0 is the compound here. In this compound, the chromium is the central metal atom. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 groups are what? They are carbon monoxide which are able to form bond with the chromium. Now you can see here also still chromium exists in 0 state. Okay, here you can see that, look at that, the compound, very very important compound, Fe2CO9. Now you can see that this bond is bridge bond. Iron and iron, they are able to form a bond between them. So it is polynuclear or not. And bridge carbonyl groups are also there. So 3 carbonyl are present as a bridged ligand here, and there is what? One metal to metal bond exists. So it is becomes polynuclear also. Why? Because in the single molecule 2 atoms are present and they involve metal to metal bonding. Are you getting that or not? So these 2 carbon, look at that, these 3 carbon, 1, 2 and this is 3, all they are present as bridge ligand. Okay, and other side, look at the structure also. In case of bridged carbonyls, that they have a strong double bond character. Are you getting that or not? Now look at one more case where what can you find? Where you can find that there is a bond between cobalt and cobalt, and there is a bridge to bridge carbonyl here also. And 3 carbonyl are present here. So that is also an example of polynuclear compound, that is CO twice carbonyl 8. Okay, clear? So it is more popularly known as bis tetracarbonyl cobalt 0. Why? Because if you take that, it take as a dimer of COCO4. Okay, then you can take bis tetracarbonyl cobalt 0. Are you getting that or not? Sure. Now take one more case. In this case, what is happening? In that case, there is a manganese to manganese bond happening. Manganese to manganese bond is happening here. Are you getting that or not? Okay. But in that case, there is no bridge carbon monoxide. Are you getting that in your mind now? So in case of Mn2CO10, there is no bridge, although it is a polynuclear compound, that manganese to manganese metallic bond is present, but there is no bridge ligand is present. So in this case, in case of Mn2CO10, there is no presence of bridged carbonyl. There is no presence of bridged carbonyl. Okay, compare it with what? If you compare it with COCO8, there will be two bridged carbonyls. You compare it with Fe2CO9, there will be three bridged carbonyl. So in Fe2CO9, there are three bridged carbonyl. In CO8, there are two carbonyl present as bridge. But in case of Mn2CO10, there is no bridged carbon monoxide present between the two metal atoms. Are you getting that in your mind now? Now look at that. I am talking about what? I am talking about the carbon monoxide molecule. The carbon monoxide or molecule has a unique configuration. What is the unique configuration? That due to the very high electronegativity of oxygen, its energy level get lower down, and due to comparatively low electronegativity, carbon has higher energy level. So atomic orbitals of oxygen got lower energy level, and atomic orbitals of carbon at a high energy level, but still they are able to overlap together. And while overlapping, what happens? The sigma antibonding, I will draw like that. It is sigma 1s2, sigma star 1s2, sigma 2s2. After that, gap exists. Sigma antibonding 2s is not there. What happens? Sigma 2pz occurs. Then you have what? Then you have pi 2py, pi 2px, and then you have antibonding 2s2. So I put a question mark there because antibonding 2s2 is missing from there and comes after only pi 2px. So that is very, very unique configuration. That unique configuration you have to take into account while solving or while discussing the metal carbonyl bonding. So it means that in case of carbon monoxide, the outermost electron are what? They are sigma antibonding. It is called highest occupied molecular orbital. So highest occupied molecular orbital is sigma star 2s2, sigma antibonding 2s2. I am repeating once more. The highest what? The highest occupied molecular orbital is what? The highest occupied molecular orbital is sigma antibonding 2s2. So memorize that configuration well. That is very, very important. I will repeat once more to you. The configuration is what? The configuration of carbon monoxide is sigma 1s2, sigma star 1s2, sigma 2s2, sigma 2pz to pi 2px equal to pi 2py. So you can write anyone here x or here y depending upon your choice, and then you have sigma anti-bonding 2s. Okay, pi anti-bonding 2 pi x, pi anti-bonding 2py, and sigma anti-bonding 2pz are vacant. They all have 0 electrons. So bond order comes to be how much? Bond order comes out to be half number of electron in bonding minus number of electron in anti-bonding. So I have tick marked the anti-bonding. So answer is 10 minus 4, 6 by 2, 3. So in carbon monoxide, the bond order is what? The bond order is equal to 3. Or you can say what? You can say that there is existence of triple bond. There is existence of what? Triple bond here. Are you getting in your mind now? Are you sure? Now bonding in metal carbonyl. The bonding in metal carbonyl is of most important. The molecular orbital diagram of CO is shown in figure. I just told you. It is clear from the figure that highest occupied molecular orbital is lone pair projection away from a carbon atom. That is what sigma anti-bonding 2s2. So highest, look at that, highest occupied what? Highest occupied molecular orbital is this sigma anti-bonding. What is that? Sigma anti-bonding. Okay, sure about that? It serves as a weak donor to the metal atom and forms a metal carbon bonding. So what can happen that this sigma star 2s2 will donate its electron pair to the metal atom. Okay, so the lowest unoccupied are pi anti-bondings. You know that these are unoccupied. So these are what? These two anti-bonding, pi anti-bonding, these two are lowest unoccupied. This is highest occupied molecular orbital. And what they are? They are lowest unoccupied molecular orbitals. Okay, this is HOMO. Highest occupied molecular orbital. This is LUMO. Lowest. What they are? They are lowest unoccupied molecular orbitals. So what can happen to these? And so now in case of what? So lowest unoccupied molecule are then pi anti-bonding molecule. These vacant orbitals overlap with the metal having pi symmetry. Now why it happens? That metal, in case of carbon monoxide, the metal exists in zero state. So despite being in zero oxygen state, it is able to receive sigma anti-bonding 2s electron from the carbon monoxide. So these sigma anti-bonding electron goes to the metal orbitals. So orbital does not have any positive charge. So it is able to receive electron from the carbon monoxide. So there will be what? Increase in the electron density on the metal atom. So what does those metal orbital will do? The d orbitals of the metal atom will overlap with the pi anti-bonding empty orbital of carbon monoxide. Okay, I am repeating once more. The electron pair in the d orbital of metals, the electron pair present in the d orbitals of the metal will be denoted back to the empty anti-bonding pi to pi orbitals, pi anti-bonding orbitals of carbon monoxide. Okay, are you sure about that? Clearly understood? So I am repeating once for bonding in metal carbonyl. There is a donation of lone pair of electron of carbon monoxide into the empty orbitals of the metal atom. Sigma anti-bonding, what they are happening? Sigma star 2s electron. They are donated to the metal electron. Sorry, metal atom. Now metal has what? Metal has electrons in d orbitals. Why? Because what is the metal has? Metal has zero state. So okay, so it will give back its d electrons to the empty pi anti-bonding MO of carbon monoxide. Look at that. These are unoccupied. These are three orbitals are vacant or not. Out of these orbitals, these two, which I am arrowing, these two, pi star 2px and pi star 2py, they are lowest unoccupied. Lowest unoccupied means vacant orbitals. So these orbitals in a position to accept a lone pair, and they will get the lone pair. Okay, so what will happen? Metal will donate its d electrons to the empty pi anti-bonding of carbon monoxide. So what will happen now? So there is a pi overlap involving donation of electron from filled metal d orbitals into vacant anti-bonding pi orbitals of carbon monoxide. This results into formation of metal carbon bond. So what has happened? In case of carbon monoxide, there is a bond from ligand to the metal. There is a bond from what? Ligand to the metal. Then there is second bond from metal to the ligand. That's why metal carbonyls are highly stable. Okay, this is a what? This is a back donation or back bonding. The metal to ligand bonding created a synergic effect which strengthened the bond between carbon monoxide and the synergy means afterward means donation of the d electron from metal to the carbon monoxide will make the first formed bonding more stronger. That is called synergic effect. It means occurrence of the second event will make the first event more favorable. Okay, the donation of the d electron to the empty anti-bonding orbital will make the earlier formed ligand to metal bond more stronger. So occurrence of the second event will make the first event more favorable, more stronger. Okay, and this is not probability, that is actually happening. So what you will observe that lone pair, that is sigma star 2s, I am repeating once more, that is sigma star 2s2. The lone pair present on the carbon goes to the vacant orbitals of the metal. Okay, so there is a ligand to metal bond. There is ligand to metal bond. That is first bond. That is first bond. Okay, so lone pair present on the carbon goes to the vacant orbital of metal. Then what will happen? Filled d orbital of. So from metal d orbitals, this is second bonding. This is number 2 bond. Okay, so what is filled d orbital of orbitals go to the vacant anti-bonding of pi. So vacant pi anti-bonding orbitals are there in carbon monoxide. I already told you. Those vacant anti-bonding pi orbitals will accept the metal to ligand. So that is second bond. So two bonds are formed from ligand to the metal and then from metal to the ligand. So creation of this bond, so formation of the second bond will make the first bond more stronger. This is called synergic effect. This is called what? Synergic effect. the formation of the back bonding between the filled d orbital of the metal to the vacant anti-bonding MO of carbon monoxide will make the ligand to metal bond more stronger. Okay, so you can say that there is a pi overlapping. So one is from metal to carbon sigma bond, metal to carbon sigma bond. Then there will be metal to carbon pi bond. So one is sigma bond, other is pi bond. Okay, ligand to metal, that is sigma bond. Metal to the ligand, that is pi bond. Are you getting that? So memorize that. Are you sure about that? Clearly understood? That is very, very important. I am repeating once more. The sigma anti-bonding 2s2 electron will donate to the central metal atom, and pi to px and pi to py both are vacant along with sigma to pz, but that will not receive. In between either this or this, they are before that configuration is written to you. So this is donated to the metal atom, and metal atom donates the electron to these two. Are you getting that or not? Sure. So you can say that first is the sigma bond here, that is sigma bond, and then you have a pi bond here. Okay, sure about that? So that will happen. The pi bonding goes from the filled d orbitals to the empty pi bonding, empty anti-bonding. Okay, sure about that or not? So that you have to memorize very well. This you have to memorize very well. Are you getting that in your mind now? Surely understood now? Clearly understood? Very nice.